A very good morning to everyone here. Let's begin with the mutual fund quotes. Starting from mutual fund with the desire, advantage, benefits of mutual fund, risk return policy of mutual fund, how it is going to help for the investor in the future investment plans, what are the SIP plans, how systematic investment plan will help the investor to invest more and more and to get more return compared to rest of the avenues. So let's begin with the introduction part. Starting from the investors and their financial goal, you can see this slide. There is certain types of questions which have been asked, like what is all about mutual fund, the investor, their financial goal. Can you suggest some of the good investment as a basic questions, like normally as an investor we just go for the different types of investment avenue and we just identify which are the good investment plan. Can we suggested from somebody that the investments are can give more and more return, where I can invest in what form. So when we call about avenue in form of the stocks, in form of government securities or the bonds or gold or liquid assets or any types of investment other schemes. But compared to that, mutual fund is one of the investment where it will reach to a different level of financial goal. If you see this slide itself, might be you need a good investment plan, mutual fund scheme with the buying of year by year. One should buy which year, one should not to buy which year, which mutual fund schemes should buy which year, which is the best mutual fund schemes, or which is the best investment schemes, or should I invest in the stocks or in the real estate? What is your view in the stock market? All these are the questions arising whenever you go for investment. Now, uh, when it's come for investment plan, you should have a proper, clear idea about where to invest, how to invest, and why to invest. So, should I make some changes in investment plan, or should I go for investment avenue in different classification, or should I go for a proper investment plan which will yield a more and more return in the upcoming days? So here, these are mainly similar questions very regularly asked by many of the investors, where issue with these questions, these are the about the investment, not the investor, and investor need to know, discuss about probability of chances of future outcomes. Now if I go for future outcome, the money as in part of saving which have been earned for future days, these are the questions might arises from many types of investor, whether what type of mutual fund, different types of mutual fund, and how these mutual funds have been invested for how long, and what is the expected return, and is there any risk added on this mutual fund, whether these funds have been invested in the market and there is a future market risk, or what kind of a return expected from the market which has an effect or impact on directly mutual fund. These are the basic questions might arise from different people in different perspective, right? So perception might take place with the investor. What is a good investment plan? Suggestion on the good investment plan. Normally, as a layman, just want to have a one savings to keep in the name of investment, where he just prefer mutual fund rather than stocks. So because the stocks has a risk as well as return, but when it's come for mutual fund, you have a fixed rate of return can be expected based on the investment under SIP plans, so systematic investment plans. A majority of the middle class, the lower class who want to invest in mutual fund, they just prefer SIP plans. And SIP plans, they might be the short term or the long term, and the rate of return, the interest what is been written in the name of investment. So all these are the common questions arising from investment plan. So mutual fund, one of the area where it will identify the need of the investor, the need of the different perception of the company, or goal, financial goal, objectives of these goals. suggesting with what type of a funds required to buy. And I said about that year by year, what rate of return, year by year, which mutual fund, or year by what kind of a best investment plan can be taken. So coming to the next slide, based on the first slide, you'll come to know that there is certain example why investment is made. Now, I have some example here, like Shalini, a 8-year-old girl, lives in a mid-sized town in North India with her parents, and she highly inspired by watching the recent success of India's space program, in which some women scientists played a huge role. So she wants to become a space scientist. Her parent, Miss or Mr. Gupta, was support the pursue her dream, right? So now Shalini required what type of investment, though she might be knowing about which are the factor she needed to be in form of education. So Shalini need, when I talk about why investment, Shalini should know that where should I invest. Therefore, she need to be educated well. So the basic question will come that before investing in any of the sources of revenue, you should know what is all about, and you should educate it well about the investment plan, the various sources of investment, various company who are preferring to get invested from their company, and getting good return. So this was the example of Shalini. She might be preferred by looking at the others how they are, but when it's come for Shalini, if they want interested to invest in the investment plan, she might be educated in the different avenues or different investment plans. Uh, Taking the second example as a Ravindra, when it's come for Ravindra, if Ravindra want to construct a house, example, Ravindra want to construct a house, uh, what type of a house he is looking? Now, when he want to construct house, for how long this construction has to take place? Now, what is the budget? He should properly plan in advance about his investment on a especially particular house. At the same time, he should know that how much money he should keep as a side in form of investment where it get written. On that return, he can go for construction of his houses. So buying a house, what type of investment is required to make kind of a savings, from there what percentage of amount has to be kept aside to construct a house, there also you have an investment plan. Somebody like Surinder Singh is getting retired. After retired, what is next? So he needs some of the funds, so fund to their living after retirement. So these are the three people, the different example I said about. If Shalini, when in the olden days, she might be kind of interested in many of the area, but comparatively when it's come for investment plan, she should be known about what investment is required. When it's come for buying of house, how much budget to construct one house, how much money has to be kept aside in the name of investment, what is the return from that investment, from that return how this is helpful for to construct of houses. When it's come for Surinder Singh, after retirement, what kind of fund retirement plan is required, the retirement plan to look into their future living based on what fund, if I start now investing at the age of 30, the next 30 years, which type of investment is required, what kind of a growth can be taken into consideration. So there are one more example about Mrs. Souza, where her perspective on the financial goal, short-term need versus with the long-term needs, or with the basic financial goal with in form of what achievement, or keeping the track record of the inflation. Now, based on the mutual fund perfection, now when we see this, kind of a perception leading with the inflation, today's market price, and you're achieving in form of investment for the future, what is the inflation later on. So why this investment has a different forecast based on the priority, investment need to be regulated based on the meeting of financial goal. When we talks about financial goal, There are multiple example about financial goal, different structure of financial goal, how it is going to help for fulfilling the various dreams of many investors. So you should know about the perception about the investor goal based on what. Now looking at the calculation about the uh, investor goal, there are three important areas where a financial objective can be seen here. If I go for a financial objective, like example, like common situation we see regularly in our own life and lives of the people around us, there is no explicit mention about money. So here, fund is required to maintain the financial objectives that everyone knows about as a part of investment plan. Fund to meet the financial objective and assign the amount timeless of the objective, it will convert into financial goal. Your financial objective will convert into financial goal. Then when it's come for the second, I said about the somebody is getting retired, or somebody want to construct house. Now somebody want to be educated, like an example about I said about Shalini, a child's education, cost of marriage, or funding of the lifestyle, or retirement, or buying a vehicle, or buying or renovating one house, or taking big vacation, or the I can tell you about the uh, goal setting in various kind of exercise like planning for investment and based on the financial goals, structure of this financial goal, or to meet kind of expenses. All these are very much calculative. And these are the basic introduction what I said about investment and money need to withdraw from the investment plan. And there are different perspective where it is classified. Now other than this, investment is required for uplifting the standard of living of the person too. If I go for goal setting to identify, there are different events in the life. Some of these are desirable, can be planned, uh, undesirable. Sometimes it might be surprised also. Sometimes it might be negative outcome too. When I come for undesirable, there is a negative outcome like death of the family member. He was the backbone, or he might be the breadwinner of the family, but later on death of the family member make a drastically change in the living of the family member, or sometimes hospitalization or accident or theft. So one cannot plan the fund expenses associated with such events throughout the investments. So only based on we can create the emergency fund. So this is called the creating of emergency fund. So emergency fund is required to know about how this is classified based on what emergency fund is required. Now comparatively when we see after identifying event or one need to assign priority, so today investment plan is very much required. And why might be retirement or children's education, other responsibilities, or I said example about going to family vacation or the hospitalization bill or construction of houses or your personal commitment, you need an investment. So when we think about investment, thereby we have a different avenue. There are different options. Like one option we can tell, instead of going for a risk-taking investment plan, let we have a one fixed deposit investment plan like mutual fund. There are different types of mutual fund, might be in the long term or mid-term cap. So all this capital investment needed in form of various type of education. So educating people are very much important when it's come for perception of investment based on the desire of the uh, people, how it is invested, where it is invested, and why it is invested, and when it is invested. So there are different types of investment plan. It will help for every individual. Now coming to the next slide, third slide here. Now you can pick from here as a saving or investment, and you just go through for the saving and investment how this is a very much helpful, like saving or investment, whether the term of saving and investment is the same or different. Saving in form of short term, saving in form of the long term. some of the important questions need to tackle, like do the two words like saving and investment mean the same thing, or they are different word? If these are different things, which is better, saving or investment? If I ask you which is better, you might be tell that some people might tell that saving is better. Some people might tell that investment better. Why? Because saving with the bank will not yield that return compared to any other investment. So you need whatever cash you have, you need to go through for different types of investment plan where it will help you to generate more and more income whatever money has been saved. So saving originate from the same root as is safe, especially the money is saved, it is always safe. The safety of money is of a critical importance here, whereas money on investment money primary object typically earn profit, right? In saving you can't expect as a profit, but when it's come for investment of money, they 100% the objective typically is earn profit on return. So it is saved money that can be invested. Obviously the money is saved is invested, and I said in the beginning itself, if somebody want to construct a house, might be instead of borrowing fund 100% borrowing fund, they can save for some of the money and future burden can be minimized. So here it is saved money that can be invested. In other words, savings and investment are not considered as a two completely different things, but they are two steps and the same parameter, same process, where in order to invest money one need to save first. Now this is what the conclusion is. So saving or investment, but investment comes later, saving comes first. So when it's come for saving, you have a short term versus long term goals. So here you have a immediate term, near term, medium term, long term, where investment and savings can be made. How savings can be made? So savings normally people do with the bank account. So normal people do only one objective of earned income where it can be saved, that's in through bank. So banks save money, banks save public money. At the same time, where to invest, bank also have the options under fixed deposit. But other than fixed deposit, there are public have a lot of investment avenue where money can be generated, money can be earned more and more return. There might be much risk, but even there is a safe risk and a safe return can be expected. Then the next slide talks about the factor which is going to evaluate the investments. There are different factors which will evaluate the investment. Right. Now your evaluation based on different criteria. Based on different criteria, evaluation method is taken into consideration. Now when we talks about evaluation method, one of the evaluation talks about safety of the money, how money being safeguarded, then liquidity, then returns. These are the three important areas. How safe they are, how much in form of liquidity, which is important, which is not important, what is the return expected from this factor. So some of the uh, factors which are evaluated, some of the factor which is required to convince people. So when we talks about safety, there are multiple investment plan talks about the safety, liquidity, and the current or future return. Now if I go for safety and the liquidity, there are money invested in form of what, money is needed in form of what, and what kind of return is expected, which is the most important factor to be evaluated in form of investment. Like taking as the first priority as a safety, like the beginners of the safety, where they just classify like capital invested. When they come for capital investment, how capital investment is made, in what form. Normally people just invest where is less risk attached, they just want to invest. Then we have a different types of investment plan, like one could stretch that also include degree of surety of income from investment. When we talk about safety, there should be degree of safety in form of what? Surety of income from the investment. Whether your investments are safe, that become a surety, right? So more and more classification about safety will be whether my investment what I did is safe enough to get return. One, and in other word, like understand the safety of an investment, and it becomes very important where understanding the risk involved with that investment. So when we talk about safety, everyone knows about safety in form of what precautionary measures, what is the risk attached to the investment, what is my security of my investment, right? So in form of surety of income from my investment, all these are classified, all these are evaluated very thoroughly. And number two is in liquidity. When we talk about liquidity, how easily can we liquidate investment can convert into cash. So then the degree of ease across different category, even within the category, same could be different across the products, or sometimes the nature of the product could such as selling it's difficult, whereas sometimes it might be operational features, they might be in the locking period sometime, liquid investment or sometime penalty for early existing, right? So here, when we talk about liquidity, how these investments are really meant to be invested in the market, how my liquidity is converted into so safely or immediately, whether if I convert into very premature period, whether any penalty, right, any penalty are imposed. So evaluation on the investments are very clear. When I in form of investing, in form of investment, I should go for, it might be the mutual fund, it might be in the stock, it might be any other avenues, but the safe is one of the important factor. Then it talks about liquidity, and third it talks about the returns. So return always talks about current income, capital appreciation, capital gain, right? Return always capital appreciation, capital appreciation, current income or capital gain, which is predicted. So purpose of get some return on investment, it is a main important priority of every investor. Why I should invest, in what form, investment in such a venue whether really matters in form of investment, whether they are classified into different sector, or there are multiple way where return can be expected. So a factor to evaluate investment: safety, liquidity and return. Safety, I said that how secure is my income is, liquidity how it can be converted so easily, and returns how much return and when and where. Now based on these three category, investments are evaluated. So mutual funds are safer, very much liquidate, and highest number of returns can be expected. So I'll stop from this written slide, remaining we'll see in the next. Thank you all. We'll look into different asset classes. Various investment avenue can be grouped into different category, which is called asset classes. Different category of different investment avenue is called different asset classes. Might be here four important classes have been explained. One is about real estate, when it's come for commodity, when it's come for fixed income, when it's come for equity. Now when we go through for this slide, and we can see here how this category have been divided in form of what. One is about real estate, about their safety, the liquidity, the return and the reward. So which is more better, or which might be the less riskier, more rewardable, which is more safer, which has a more liquid. So here four important classification and which has been categorized also. Broad asset category. Real estate is one asset will be one category, commodity is one more category, equity and fixed income is one more category. Now When it's come for investment in one of the asset classes, one we talks about real estate in form of real estate. Then you have a asset like commodity, asset like equity, asset like fixed income. And real estate that has a, when it's come for return, high reward. But when it's come for liquidity and safety, they are very less safety wise if you see, less liquidity if you see. But when it's come for rewarding is expected very high. It depends. Now I'll come back about very briefly how it depends and why it depends with the classification. So here, uh, real estate talks about consider most important popular among all the assets. Popularity of this asset category is largely because reason not related to investment, but who have brought their own houses, largest expenses in their life, expenses and not investment, or pertainment of this mention about the majority of the cases. So real estate, one of the popular investment where high risk also there, high reward, because risk you need to wait for a longer period. One risk like when this asset appreciation might take place. So it cannot be easily converted into liquid asset. When it's come for safety wise also, they are safer compared to any changes of the policy, but they are safety wise also it is very easier than any other avenues, but risk also there, reward also there. When it's come for commodity, we might be seen there are different classification of commodity, what commodity requires and what type of requirement is needed. That is also classified here in form of commodity market, how it is explained in what form, and we are going to study in detail with other slides where it has been explained about real estate, commodity, equity and fixed income. Uh, when it's come for equity, equity can be converted liquid at any time. Safety wise, compared to another venue, safety also less here, but return is high, risk also high, reward also high, right? Risk is there, reward is there. Then fixed income always safer compared to any other income. They can be converted into equity also anytime, can be converted into liquidity also anytime. Risk is less here, risk is less under fixed income, but reward will be comparatively not more than like real estate or any equity, but fixed income has a reasonable return. This is what been explained under different category, but here real estate asset classes are classified very systematically. This real estate might be is classified in form of real commodity, fixed income, equity, and with the market value. So if you see the safety, liquidity and the return, real estate, commodity and equity has a highest risk compared to fixed income. But all the four reward is more than less or less than what we can see the other assets. It is normally goes same to same reward, but when it's come for equity, reward if market is there, rewarded. If market is not there, reward it's converted into risk or loss, future loss. So it is classified into different category, but when it's come for real estate, commodity, equity and fixed income, we study very clearly within detail how it is calculated and how it is connected in the coming slide.